Hello.
Hi, Jeremy.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So, I think we're getting around to 9:30. So I've kicked on the video and I've kicked on my microphone. So, what I'd love to do is, it's great to have a few videos on so I can see people's faces, but is there any chance that anybody that's got their microphone on can turn it off, just so that we don't get any background noise coming through onto this? And there is a chat feature in Zoom. So if you do have any questions, Nikki's on the call as well, on the Zoom video call, and she will answer any questions. And what I'll do at the end of this session, we'll leave the session open for a while so the Zoom questions can be answered and you can ask more questions after that. Is that okay? Excellent, great. So what I'm going to run through today is very specific to Property Tree and the work that we've been doing with Property Tree for a number of months now. I think you're probably aware that we've spent quite a lot of focus on making sure that the relationship between Property Tree and PIM focuses Property Tree as the central source of truth. And that means that you start the process off by scheduling your inspections in Property Tree, and then you push the information down to PIM. You capture your photos and capture your comments in PIM, and then you push them back up into Property Tree. What I want to run through today is there are a number of features in here that you might not be aware of, and also a few things that we're working on in the background. But as well as being able to schedule your inspections and confirm your inspections in Property Tree, you can also push some notes down to each inspection. So I'm going to run through that for you, and that's a handy thing. You can also now, with some developments within the Property Tree backend, schedule both routine inspections and property condition reports from Property Tree and push those back up as well. So that was an important development. The other thing that I want to run through is the ability, particularly if you are just starting off with PIM or you've got new properties coming into your portfolio, if you set up your smart property profiles so that they're matched between Property Tree and Property Inspection Manager, it just saves you time when you're setting up that property the first time. So I'll show you that as well. The other thing is that when you're dealing with or submitting your inspections back into Property Tree, not only does it send back the completed report, it also sends back owner notes, tenant notes, and the other field, which is our summary, goes back up into Property Tree as well. So you've got that combination of the report and some notes that go back from the inspection. The other thing that we've done is over the last couple of months, we've been developing our ability to mark up and annotate images, so higher resolution images with notes and with squiggles and with arrows and with text on them, so that you can really show why you've taken that picture. And you can send those photos at the moment individually, either to yourself or to a colleague or to an owner or to a tenant. And watch this space, because somewhere down the line, we're hoping to do a little bit more with that as well. So what I'm going to do is, without more ado, I'm going to close this PowerPoint and I'm going to go over to Property Tree to kick off with, and then I'm going to go into PIM. Now, request from me here as well, Nikki, if you're listening, if there's anything that I miss at any time or anybody's got a question that's really important, just let me know and pop in and see me. So where I'm going to go to kick off with is, I've just gone into my inspections within Property Tree. So I'm just going to go back into my managements. I'm going to go into my inspection summary. So bear in mind with Property Inspection Manager, once you have confirmed, and it's really important to remember this, when you confirm an inspection, that confirmed inspection will become available to download in your PIM device, whether it's your iPhone or your iPad. you'll be able to import those inspections straight away. So scheduling your inspections, you'll see now that when you do set up your inspections and schedule them, you can either choose to have a routine, an ingoing or an outgoing inspection, and those will become available in PIM. What you can also do in here is, if I go into the inspection itself, you'll be able to see that this is confirmed, and when I come back up into here, after I've done the inspection, you'll be able to see that that has changed from a confirmed inspection to a conducted inspection. So I'm just going to quickly show you one that I did earlier on, just with the begin with the end in mind thing. If I go into my inspections for this property here, I did a routine inspection earlier on. It's been closed down here now. I'm just going to have a quick look in here, but you'll be able to see from my, just let me close that down. You'll be able to see on my screen in here that, as well as having the inspection report sent back up into Property Tree from my inspection. So there's my inspection that I sent back up, which has gone back in there. I've also got, just getting rid of this. Sorry, I'm just getting rid of that. Let's go back into Property Tree. There we go. I've also got my notes sent back from my inspection. So I've got tenant notes, which go in here. So any notes that go in there can come back from PIM. I've got tenant actions, I've got owner notes, and I've got owner actions as well. So I've got a report, tenant actions, owner actions, all getting pushed back into Property Tree. You'll see above this one as well that I've got some general notes. And one of the things I was going to mention to you is, with PIM, when you're setting up your inspections, you can put notes into this general notes section and they get pushed into the property info in PIM. So you can push down things like, remember to look at the maintenance that was carried out in the laundry, or be aware that there's a dog at the property, or anything that's useful for you to push down to the inspection so that you're made aware that you need to either do something or know about something, and that can come from PIM. So I'm going to come back out of Property Tree at the moment. I'm going to go into Property Inspection Manager, and then I'll come back up into Property Tree in a second. Sorry, after I've done the inspection. Okay, pull that down there now. So I'm just going to move across to Property Inspection Manager. I could really do with, I can see there's a group of you there watching me, and I can see you. When I change the screen to Jeremy, it should change to my iPad. If you just give me a thumbs up so that you can see my iPad, that will be really handy. Okay, so I've gone into Property Inspection Manager. Now, with PIM, we've got settings, you've got your inspections, you've got your import. I'm just going to quickly go into the settings area. So when you're going into to set up your relationship between Property Tree and PIM, remember that you need to activate the API key, and that needs to be set up within PIM. You can either send us that API key to support@propertyinspectionmanager.com, which is probably the best thing to do. And then in the advanced setup within the app, you go to Enable Property Tree. We embed the key in here. It's activated, and then you've got a choice, and that choice is the ability to be able to import confirmed inspections that have been confirmed in the next 7 days, or confirmed inspections that are confirmed for the next 14 days. So that will bring in any confirmed inspections into PIM. The other thing that I wanted to show you is that within PIM admin, you have this area called Smart Property Profiles. And in Smart Property Profiles, you can mirror the property profiles that you've got in Property Tree within PIM. So that means if your properties are predominantly apartments or houses or townhouses or any of the other property profiles that are already embedded within Property Tree, you can create a matching profile in here. What that means is, for the first time a property is brought into your PIM, if it's got an apartment property profile assigned to it, it will bring that property in with all the areas that you've got set up to appear in that apartment profile. So I've set this up with gardens, an exterior, a garage, a lounge, 3 bedrooms, etc. And then at the bottom, I've got maintenance required, suggested improvements, our summary, and tenant summary. And it's important to include these areas because the maintenance required gets pushed back into the owner area. The summary gets pushed back into property tree and goes into the notes that go into the email when you send your report to the owner. And the tenant summary goes back into the tenant notes as well. So what I've got in here, I've got a house, for example, and in the house, I've set this up as a 2-bathroom, 3-bedroom. So the first time I import a property into PIM and it sees that it's a house and that house matches, it will bring it across with all those areas and it will include maintenance required, suggest improvements, our summary, and the tenant summary. So once I've got that set up, I can go into import and I can pull down on my confirmed inspections and it will bring any confirmed inspections into my PIM ready for me to import and conduct. So you'll see here, I've got 5 inspections that have been scheduled in the next 14 days. 4 of those have got green bars on them. And those green bars mean that they haven't been conducted on this device before. So they're new properties, new inspections. And that orange one means that I've already done an inspection on this device. So it's doing a repeat inspection. And that repeat inspection means that it's going to do a repeat on the previous inspection that was done within PIM. It will produce a new inspection. It won't override the previous one. And it will include last time's areas. And it will also include last time's notes. It won't include last time's photos, but it will include last time's notes. So that I can use that as a base for my new inspection. Now, before I import these into PIM, let's just have a quick look at this. The information that's coming across includes the address details of the property. It includes the profile of the property as well. So I've got some houses in here. I've got this land development one down there. That just means that it's saying this is a house. It's the first time I'm setting it up. I'm going to make this a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, or whatever you've got in your profile. So you may vary yours so that it's a 4-bedroom or it may be a 2-bedroom, depending on the profile of your rent roll. It also says in here whether it's a routine inspection or an outgoing inspection, or it could be ingoing. So that's dictated as well. And it's got the date and time for the inspection. Now, when I'm ready, I can bring these in to PIM, and the little action button up in the top right-hand corner allows me to either import ones that I tag with a tick. So if I tick them, it'll bring them in, or I can import them all. I'm just going to import those all. So that'll bring those into my PIM. So that's successfully imported 4 new inspections and 1 existing inspection into Property Inspection Manager, and that's ready for me to now conduct my inspections. Now, you'll see in here, I've got a green bar against 1001 West Coast Highway. That's because it's already been done previously. I did it earlier on today, hence it's still on my list for August, but that's been submitted up into Property Tree, so that's already been conducted. Anything that doesn't have a bar against it needs to be carried out. So I'm just going to go into Jutland Parade, Dalkeith, and here we've got the address of the property. It's been set up as a house, so a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1 garage. It's brought over the owner details and their phone numbers, phone number, and also their email address. Those are available to me in case I want to email or call somebody when I'm out doing an inspection. So if you're using the phone for your PIM inspections, you can actually dial an owner or a tenant if their phone number is in there directly from the device. So you don't have to mess around looking for numbers. If you've got an internet signal, you can send text. If you've got their email address, you can send an email directly from PIM. So all that information is brought across from Property Tree. You'll see in here, it's set this up as a property inspection report, which is your routine. If it was an outgoing or an ingoing, that would say property condition report. So it will let you know what's going on there as well. Oops, excuse me, let me just come back out of there. Just going down the list is bringing across my tenancy details. My fault for choosing a Dalkeith property at $10,000 a month. Believe me, that does happen. And again, it's got all the details that I need to get in touch with somebody, if I need to get in touch with them, and it also gives me my lease details. The other thing that I've got in here that's been pulled in from Property Tree, if I had a key number assigned to this property, it would come into here. And if I, and these are the notes that I've put down into Property Tree and brought down into PIM. So that property info field is generated from the general notes. So you can put general notes into Property Tree relative to or related to this inspection, and I can put whatever I want in here, whether it's notes about the tenant, whether it's notes about things that I need to check on, and just general prompt stuff, or if it's anything background that I need to be aware of. So if I tap to start my inspection, just have a look at this. I've got my maintenance required suggested improvements, our summary and tenant summary. The maintenance required suggested improvements in our summary go onto the front page of your routine inspection. The tenant summary is separate to that, but those tenant notes go back up into Property Tree. I've got all the rooms associated with the property, and I know I've shown this before, but I'll do it again. The first time you go out to a property, you may want to change the order of the rooms, or you might want to add areas if you want to. All that's done from the top right-hand corner. So you've got your plus sign if you want to add a room. So I want to add a study. So that's in my list. It then appears at the bottom of my list. I can press the edit sign, touch on there, and drag it up. Now, sometimes people will ask me, what happens if I've got a room that's a bit different and it doesn't appear on the drop-down menu? What you can do is you can go into settings, go into PIM admin, go into your inspection areas, and you can add whatever rooms are required. So in this instance, I'm going to add a sunroom, press done. I go back to my inspection, I press the plus, I go to the area, touch the sunroom, done. It's added to the bottom of my list, and I move that to wherever I want it. So with PIM, you always have that flexibility of being able to add whatever room that you want to your inspection and move it so it's in the right order for that inspection. Now, just in terms of capturing information and how that pushes back for today's session, I'm just going to do one area, but I've got my front gardens, for example. I can go into here. I've got my clean and damage working in maintenance, quick checks, click once, click twice, it goes red. So it's a visual prompt as to what's going on. I can add my notes either by keying in, or I can use these little circles and crosses to bring up my list of shorthand words and phrases. So you can build a library of commonly used terms to drop into your inspection, and you can either scroll, touch, and drop in, or if you know the abbreviation, you can key in the abbreviation, press the space bar, it appears above, you can touch it and drop it in. You can also add notes into additional notes. Now, additional notes do not go into your report. You can use these for your eyes only, and they will stay with the inspection. So you have a choice here. You can use it for whatever makes sense for you, but you could add something that you need to look at maybe next time you do a routine. So for example, keep an eye on the trees to the south of the property because they are overgrowing the boundary fence and will probably need pruning in a few months' time. And what you can do as well is assign a picture to that by taking a photo. I'm sorry, it's not a very good garden photo, but I'm just going to click. I can press include in maintenance, use photo, and that will save against the inspection as well. Press done. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to show you at this point was if I now take a picture in PIM, so I'm just going to bring up my camera again, and I'm going to take a picture of my phone, my sticker. But if I take a picture in PIM now, obviously you'll see on the right-hand side, I've got a photo and I've got a multi. If I press multi, it allows me to take lots of pictures quickly. So I can go 1, 2, 3. So I've taken those quickly. So that's great if I want to do a scan of the garden or a room. If I just want to take one single photo, I press photo, I can press the button to take that picture. And then you'll see that I've got a few options. Now, the additional button that you may not have seen before is this edit button. You can add notes to a photo. So I'm just going to add some notes to this picture. Overgrown trees require observation. Press OK. Now what I can do is press edit, and that edit function allows me to annotate this diagram. So you'll see down here in the bottom right hand corner, I've actually got a suite of tools that I can use. I've got another button here that allows me to change the width of whatever I use. So I can have a thick arrow or a thin arrow. I'll put it on medium for now, and I can change the color. So I can go into here and I can use these tools to mark up my picture, which is really useful if you've got something that needs a little bit more explanation. And usually what I find is that if I'm doing a picture on a wall where there's a crack, or if there's a watermark, I can really highlight where those problems are. And I can actually put some text into the photo as well. So if I'm going to here, overgrown trees. And then I can move that to wherever it needs to go to. And it's keeping the notes going. So I can move that there, mark up my diagram, press done, and save that photo with all the notes associated with it. So if I go into my photos here within PIM now, I can look at all the pictures that I've taken in that area. I've got the one that I've added the notes to. At this point, if I want to, I can delete photos that I don't need. I can also go into any of these pictures and or photos, and I can add some notes in this area as well. Must remember to keep an eye on the trees on the southern boundary of the property. And I can choose to either keep this in the report or put it into the actual physical report as well. So I can keep a photo with the inspection, so it's associated with the inspection for future reference, but not go into the inspection, or I can switch that off. So that's going into the report. That isn't going to the report, but it's saved with the inspection. The other thing that I can do now is I can go into this picture here that I've marked up, and you'll see in the top right-hand corner that I've got a little action button. And if I press that action button, I can send that individual photo straight away to somebody. And it sends that picture in a higher resolution format so that it can be blown up and it can really show what's going on. And I can send it directly from my device, either by texting, using my message facility, or I can send it directly to myself, to the owner, or to the tenant. So any information that's come across from Property Tree, so I could say email the owner, it will then create an email, it will mail merge with their email address, it will include the photo, and I can send that directly from my device, from PIM, to somebody and say, look, I've just noticed this, we need to act on it straight away, and I can send it from my device. Now, watch this space, because at some point we're hoping to enhance this process so that it pushes back up into Property Tree. So don't want to overpromise stuff, but we're definitely working on that at the moment to push back those individual elements into Property Tree as well. Hope that makes sense. Now, obviously I would go through my inspection, do area by area. What I'm going to just focus on now, though, is when I come to the end of my report and I've got my maintenance required, any notes that I put into the maintenance notes will go directly back into Property Tree, into the owner notes. So as well as going into the report on the front page of the report, they'll go into owner notes. Any notes that I put into the additional notes section go into owner actions. Suggested improvements just goes into the report itself. Our summary any notes that go into our summary, as well as going into the front page of your inspection report, will also go into the email copy for when you're sending the final report to the owner. And finally, with the tenant summary section, if I go into tenant summary, anything that I write in the notes section of my tenant summary goes into tenant notes within Property Tree. Anything that I put into additional notes goes into tenant actions in Property Tree. Now, I'm just going to go back into the photos that I took previously in here. So that's back in my front gardens. I've got my 4 photos. I want to choose a feature photo to go on the front of my report. So I'm going into this one here. I'm going to use that as a cover photo. I'm going to come back, go back to my home page, and I'm going to quickly preview my inspection. So this will show me what my inspection is going to look like. I'll view it now. Okay, I've got my inspection report. This obviously would have your logo on there, all marked up for yourself and your business. I've got my hard-hitting stuff on my report, my maintenance required, my suggested improvements in our summary. I've got my table of rooms associated with the property, and I've got my ticks and crosses associated with that. So highlighting if there's anything wrong, damage. I've then got the photos associated with the inspection. I've got the area in which they were taken, the date in which they were taken. I've got any notes that are applicable to that picture as well, which appear above the photo. And in this instance here, I've also got the markup or the annotation that I've created within PIM. So I'm happy with that. I go back to my home page. I now press the action button and I submit my inspection. So that should submit the inspection back up into Property Tree. So fingers crossed, if timings are right, that should now go through. I should get an alert in a second. Property Tree data uploaded. Okay, so that's great. I'll view that later. So if I now escape from here and I go back to Property Tree, just going to refresh my Property Tree. I'm just going to search in here for 12 Jutland Parade. Go into my inspections. And you'll see in here, I'm just going to move this out of the way, that I've just conducted that routine inspection. You'll see that the status of the inspection has changed from a confirmed inspection to a conducted inspection. I can now press the little I here, and that allows me to go into the detail. So I can see that I put those notes in before, which were sent down to PIM. I've now got anything that I wrote in the tenant summary area in the notes goes into this box. Anything that went into the additional notes goes into the actions box. I've got the owner notes, I've got the follow-up items, and I've got the copy of the report saved back up in Property Tree. I can click on that and I can see the report. So that's the report that I just did. I'm happy with all of that. That's fine. So I now want to come out of there, back into this screen. So I'm happy with that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send the report to the owner. So when I press send the report to the owner, so I'm just going to get rid of that a second. It's taking it away. You'll see it creates the email. Dear Lynn, the notes that went into our summary or my maintenance notes have gone in there. The suggested follow-up items go into here. It's created the email for me. I can link the attachments. So that's my report, and I can send that report to the owner. Once that's sent and done, I can then update it to closed. See the record that's in here, update to closed, close the inspection, it's all sorted out. So that's really what I wanted to cover off today as far as the workflow between Property Inspection Manager and Property Tree, and just showing you how everything ties together. This session will be recorded and is available to you to have a look at afterwards. If there are any questions associated with this or anything else that's been mentioned, please flick it through via the chat, or send us an email to support@propertyinspectionmanager.com. So I just put this screen up again. Final one. Okay. So if you want to send anything through to us, either use the chat function or ask the question at support, and we'll be able to answer any further questions. Hopefully that's been useful for you. And thank you very much indeed for being with us today. Cheers now.